All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. And we are starting our holiday 2020 reviews. I had such a good time making the Halloween reviews this year that we were going to sneak in Santa Jaws in October. But one of my subscribers, Bill, was smart enough to say, hold off on that for the holidays. And so this has been kind of in the works to try this year, do some holiday movies, good, bad, whatever. Um, and we were supposed to start on Wednesday, no, Friday, with Santa Jaws. But while we were watching it, I got so woozy from donating plasma earlier in the day that I practically fell out while we were watching it. And so I decided to finish watching it and add that to the beginning of our holiday reviews today, which is where we are going to talk about Santa Jaws. We are going to talk about Surviving Christmas that we just finished on Amazon Prime. And we're also going to talk about the 2 episodes of South Park holiday episodes that we watched. We watched Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh and Merry Christmas Charlie Manson for this. So first, I wanted to say if this is your first time coming to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're doing a lot. Well, we have been doing a lot. And this is just another fun thing that we're going to do throughout December is talk about these holiday movies, whether they're good or bad. Um, and thankfully, I've got some people to join me on these episodes. We have a couple of people that join me on the South Park episodes as well. One of us has never really seen much South Park, and I hadn't seen a lot of the old South Park stuff in a long time. And so rewatching Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh, while I was sitting there watching it, I was trying to feel like when is it going to hit me that I've seen this a million times? And the greatness is I just got sucked in, just like I hadn't seen it in a while, but like it didn't feel like old hat. As soon as certain things happened, I was excited to see them happen. Kyle's mom is a big fat bitch. It's such a funny song, and that's the thing is I'm known for not really liking musicals, downright hating them. But when you can make me laugh, if your songs make me laugh, and you're not necessarily speaking plot to me, I really like them. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone always have some of the funniest lyrics out there for anything. And so I'll laugh at all the songs. Lonely Jew at Christmas, Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls were in here. This is, plus you just got, a character who gets to say I'm a fecal philiac on Prozac. Uh, this episode has it all. People flinging feces at each other. Mr. Mackey using the words Mookie stinks, I think. Mookie stinks. When he throws the poop. I think I even took notes for one of the South Park episodes. But yeah, South Park, man, has never. Hey, Deborah's in the chat. South Park has never, to me, lost its edge, and going all the way back to that first season, it just still holds up. It still holds up. It's still funny, and you wonder how did they get we always say this, but how did they really get away with it? Because it was like nothing we'd ever seen on television before. And looking back on it, it's like tamer now, because some of those early episodes back in 97, that was like, holy shit, cartoons are swearing at us. But this first, holiday episode really was good. It was a fun musical. Kenny doesn't die. They keep having us wonder if they're going to actually kill him off, and they don't. That's a nice little topper. And I mean, we're introduced to Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Pooh, and the live action segment that's in there of making your own Mr. Hanky and the baby eating the knowing that the baby just ate a big turd. It's not for everyone, but I love that episode. We also watched, hey, Bill's here too. How's it going, Bill? We also watched Merry Christmas, Charlie Manson from season 2, the holiday episode from that. And man, do I love that episode. You've got first off the transition between everywhere else in like Nebraska, where it's all flat and there's nothing there, to Cartman, the whole Cartman family. You open the door and everybody is just an Eric Cartman, and they never really revisit this at all. So this is like really early on in the series that they take us to the Cartman family compound in Nebraska, where they're all just different versions of Eric. I'm glad that they got away from that though, because Eric's, that would just kind of explain too much what's wrong with Eric if he was just, oh, it's just your family. We all kind of like that. Eric's something else. So by never going back to it, I think that's good. But this episode is, also really funny because you have the mixed in with Charles Manson showing up in the episode with the brother that was in prison, one of Eric's like cousins or uncles. Yeah, it's his uncle that broke out of prison, bringing Charlie Manson with him, and how Charlie Manson learns to change his ways through the episode. There's also the Mr. Hanky situation at the malls, where how can there be a Mr. Hanky here? And over at the Crestwood Mall across the way, that whole chestnut of children starting to pick apart their mythology, like figuring out when things aren't real anymore. I love that. We've got Cartman hitting a child over the head to where you basically believe he's given it brain damage. And, you try to do that now. You try to do that now. I mean, they could do it again, I guess. But, it's just the lack of empathy these characters have. It is the truest model to me of how an American child acts. The way that they just talk to each other. I mean, this is old hat me talking about it, but it's true, and that's why it's still the best. And the fudgesicle scene, they throw the fudgesicle out the window and all the cop cars all flip over and stuff. It's just a really funny, solid episode where, Charles Manson learns through watching a bunch of Christmas movies how to be a better person. Like there's the Grinchy Pooh who carves the roast poo. Oh, you got Terrence and Phillip farting on reindeer. You got It's a Wonderful Life playing in the background, and what's that George Bailey saying, you're a little bitch and I think you like to suck it. Only on South Park. The next two South Parks that we're watching, on Wednesday, when we watch Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas is going to be the next movie we watch. That day we're going to be watching Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classics from season 3. And yeah, those were the South Park episodes. They're a lot of fun, man. They're all on HBO Max. Go check them out. All the seasons, completely uncensored. And if you like South Park like I do, yeah, I should have flicked it over to one of the other pictures, but I kept talking. So now it's time to talk about the movie we were supposed to talk about a couple of days ago. And, it speaks for itself. I've been itching to watch this movie since October, or since pre-October, right? It was before we were making decisions. So it'd probably be September. We were making decisions on what we were going to watch. It was late September, but still. And I remember seeing this picture and going, oh my God, I have to do this. But thankfully, my sub here, Bill, talked me out of it, told me to save it for Christmas. And so it's been on the back burner. And we had another series fall through where we were going to do a bunch of the underwater movies, but that didn't quite work. We had some technical issues that was making me worried about making videos on my laptop anymore. And so we just kind of stopped that. And now we're tackling the holidays. And like I said, we watched it and I got real just real woozy. I slept for like 10 hours. I think I was just run down from donating plasma and working a lot. And so I didn't really get to appreciate it. I mean, I remember we're sitting there watching this movie. All right. Now, the premise of Santa Jaws is this. You look at this and you think something that takes place on the water, and maybe he's in like a la Jaws. People start falling into the water or something like that, or it's something along those lines of being Jaws. This is none of that. I mean, they take a shark in the water and then they mix it with what wants to be a John Hughes family dramedy. Mixing elements like from Home Alone, where like Kevin McAllister, wishes his parent family would disappear and then they leave him behind. And in this, the kid, feels like his family doesn't care about him, so he wants him to go away. And he uses this magic pen where he's been drawing this comic book called Santa Jaws. Okay. I mean, I get it. It's teenage logic. We drew some weird shit in high school. We used to draw this guy named Amoeba Man. Don't know why. So Santa Jaws, whatever. Well, he uses this pen. They don't explain any of this. He gets this gift from like his uncle or his grandfather or something. And honestly, you don't really need to know all the characters, like what their relations are, because they're all just paper thin cliches. But he gets this magical pen and he uses it to draw Santa Jaws. And when he says around that time, I wish my family was, basically gone. And so suddenly this drawing comes to life. And it's Santa Jaws. He's literally a shark that just has a Santa hat on his fin. It's a bad CG shark. And it starts going after the members of this kid's family. And that's the premise. Him trying to, once he realizes that the shark is picking off family members, and it's really happening, he's trying to stop it from happening. And trying to figure out how to stop this thing that he created from his own imagination, basically with the magic pen that nobody understands or where it came from and why. We never get any of it. Now, in semi-capable hands, if this was, say, some weird thing like a short film that James Gunn wanted to make or something, something on Funny or Die even, would probably pull this off way better and funnier, because there's parts of this that throw out a one-liner. Like the best line in the movie is after they draw a piece of a candy cane to spear the shark in its head to impale it. It goes in and it just gets stuck in the shark's head comically. And it jumps out of the water, showing that it's got this candy cane horn. And the kid just looks at his brother like deadpanning, and he's just like, now it's got a horn. And that was literally like the best line in the movie, because it was legit. It was a legitimately funny backfire that just made the enemy more powerful. If that's the best line in your movie, because the rest of this, it's you don't even know what you're watching, because you think you're watching Santa Jaws, but all you're getting is a bunch of unlikable, slightly above the poverty line type people, people that are decently well off, dealing with this situation, and you don't care about them. You don't care about any of these people. And it's not just because none of them can act their way out of a paper bag. I mean, hey, they're getting work as actors, so they're better than me, right? I always try to think about it like that. Like comic book writing, comic book, drawing, whatever, games, all these things that people do, they're better than me at. They're better at that than me. So that just sounded like Yoda, better than me at. So my criticism of their stuff is still on par of I can't do it, but still, this is done so incompetently. The acting is so bad. The writing is so bad. I've never seen any of these actors in anything. I kept waiting for one little nugget of someone that would be interesting to follow for a second. There's a almost comic relief guy who's like works in this comic like shop, I think, who ends up just doing a villain turn out of nowhere because I don't think they even specifically say it, but he gets a hold of the pen, and I think he creates like a woman for himself, and she can't talk, and she's just supposed to do whatever he says, and then when they kind of confront him, like, and they want the pen back, he just runs away on a boat. None of it makes sense. The stakes are like, what's funny about this, and we're talking spoilers, man. Go, if you don't want any spoilers from Santa Jaws, go see it. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Yeah, it's attracted to Christmas. This shark. So they try to use those kind of elements in the movie. Yeah, shark gets excited by Christmas decorations, as Raina's saying, ornaments for eyes wrapped in Christmas. I mean, and the shark even has kind of a personality. At least there's that, but it doesn't get shown it really, and except for like one good moment where they realize they can change the picture, so they take away the shark's teeth, and then it just hits the pier, knowing somehow that there's a bunch of like glass. Why would there be glass ornaments just chilling by the dock? I don't know, but they fall in the water and the shark breaks them and makes the like shards of ornament glass into his teeth. That's funny. But we don't get, like, it doesn't even make sense. And then you've got the music. The music that's playing in the background, like, it's even when it's being a lighthearted romp, the music is too lighthearted. When it's trying to be serious, that music is playing. It's this goofy, off the wall, like music playing throughout the whole fucking thing. That is just so beyond takes you out of it, because you don't understand. Like, didn't you try to find more than like one piece of stock music to use for your film? The elf scene where the shark takes someone's legs off and he's just on his knees, like someone pretending to be a Christmas elf. Yes, the guy stomping down the dock with just his knees was one of the most hilariously bad CGI things, man. That's got to be a meme. That's got to be a gift somewhere. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do that. I did like the fact that this kid's trying to stop this shark from killing his family, but they all die. His whole family dies. And at first it's kind of lame, just people it's always lame, but like they're always reaching for something near the water and the shark jumps out and takes them down. Only a couple of people get it in the water, but it was like people that you thought were going to get it, like, even though the supposedly likable uncle character who gets it, the one who's like kind of groovy, who has like the other best line in the movie where he's like, "Who wants cinnamon rolls? Huh?" Like when they literally, at the end of this movie, when everything goes back to normal and everybody that's died somehow magically comes back to life through this pen because they destroy the paper. Getting ahead of myself, but I don't care because fuck this movie. But like when everything's resolved and they just cut to the guy going, "Who wants cinnamon rolls?" Oh my god. There was a couple of good kills though, like when the shark comes out and impales his older brother on a candy cane before he pulls him into the water, and then you see him get killed, like eaten. You get when I knew it was like, I actually thought, ooh, we might be getting serious here, is when the young girl got killed. I was like, oh man, like they're actually kind of doing it, but they kept ruining it with any good thing you got in this movie or something that would made me go, oh, was undercut by some other scene of just horrible acting, people complaining. Nobody had any chemistry with anybody that they were supposed to be with or married to. Um, the other death was the mother's death. Like the dad's death, he just goes in the water and he's an idiot. But the mother's death, where she's like, it comes out and it just it grabs her and is just chomping on her on the deck as she's like little bits of blood are coming out of her mouth behind this like CG thing. She's just getting chomped to death while the kid like ineptly tries to, what do I do? What do I do? It's like, dude, you're just, then you see it is eating the entire mom. But in the end, he, you know, after everybody gets killed and you don't care, but it's not funny, really. It's not any good to like, he draws the picture so that he can kill it. Basically, he draws in the comic book, I'm gonna kill you, and it ends up he burns the paper and the shark explodes, and then he wakes up like it's, you know, the Dallas fake out season where, you know, she just wakes up and Bobby's in the shower. He just wakes up and like none of it had happened. It's like the scene in the morning again, stealing. I think they literally stole this kind of scene from Back to the Future where he wakes up like the next day and everything's different. Except it almost feels like everybody's just pretending that it didn't happen. Like, but they really do remember that they all were eaten by a shark, who at the size at the way that he was eaten, man, that shark would have been like the size of a whale shark with all the family members. It was eating one right after another, whole apparently too. But just good Lord, on every aspect level, this was bad. This is definitely one for RiffTrax. I think I would be able to sit through this again in a RiffTrax. Oh, as Bill is even saying right here. Who wants cinnamon rolls being the second best line is a problem. The shark hums it when it yeah, he does. The shark does hum. But it's just, it was breaking me while we were watching it. I was feeling broken, like just broke my brain, and then I got sick. And when I rewound it to rewatch it again, I just couldn't believe how, again, I thought maybe it was just being woozy, that it wasn't that bad. But it was that bad. Santa Jaws is a horrible, horrible movie, and I hope it gets the RiffTrax treatment. If you watch it on Prime as a lark, check it out that way. Do not pay for this movie, for the love of God. Don't give these people your money. But then we didn't do so hot with our other movie that we watched today either. So Santa Jaws, woof, what a god. We didn't expect it to be good. Let's just get that out of the way, right? None of us went into it thinking it was going to be a good movie, right? But we thought you'd be able to at least make fun of it properly, and I just feel like I couldn't even make fun of it properly the first time I watched it because I was just so stunned at the incompetence and the just batshitness of the whole thing. But then we get to, so this movie, at least, okay, you go, well, it's a low budget B movie. Somebody wanted to do it for a favor for a kid, you know, or it's like a Hallmark horror movie where some stuff happens, but that's its excuse. No budget, no, you know, you can't afford a good writer, can't a good cast, any of it. Okay, so somebody at least went out here and tried. They failed, and you know, a lot more people, you know, like, hey, people are making movies because they love making movies. Somebody who wanted to do this, somebody made it with love, and they maybe love it. Maybe they, you know what they got, whatever. But when you get to the big Hollywood movies that, you know, have no business, you know, you look at what's supposed to be good, you have the makings of something good, and then when it goes bad, and you wonder what are their excuses. So you get to 2004's Surviving Christmas that we just watched. I'd never seen it before. because back then I would just I kind of stopped seeing everything. I used to see everything at the theater, but back in 2004, I didn't just see everything, and this was when reviews were starting to kind of be a little bit more online, and you could hear a lot more about movies back in 2004 before you saw them, and this one just sounded awful to me. I love James Gandolfini. I love him. This was 2004, so The Sopranos was still like at its height, right? He had like 2 more years before The Sopranos was over. And you got Affleck, who, ever since freaking Good Will Hunting was been making movies back to 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 back. He was everywhere. Got Christina Applegate, who I think around the same time was going to be an Anchorman. I mean, she's had a better career since Married with Children, and I know everybody likes that show. I don't, but I think her career is so much better now, and all the things that she's been through. You see her in this, and you think maybe this will be good, and you see Captain O'Hara, and you think maybe this will be good. So you got this great cast, and then you see the trailer, and that's all you need to see. Like, for me anyway. John Q. Public, who just wants to go out and see a nice Christmas movie, though, like when they're not going to be, this movie would take them unaware. Because this takes place like, and I love cynical, but like anything else, it has to still be good. And this is this like really cynical movie where it's like, let's do the modern Christmas, right? We don't have nuclear families. Everything has gone to, going all sorts of different directions, and the world is changing and blah, blah, blah. And what's tradition and what's not. And let's go dark. Let's show how much people really don't enjoy their own families. And let's show this really messed up, mentally ill man, how it's okay to do all this weird stuff as long as you pay people enough money to do it. And then you have to look at the people who are willing to take the money to do it and placate someone who is clearly mentally ill. Because I don't think this movie did good. And I picked it for this because, honestly, we were going to be talking about Santa Jaws. Let's do 2 bad movies at once. Also, I noticed that instead of like Ben Affleck, James Gandolfini, Christina Applegate, and Catherine O'Hara's names all before the title, it's just Ben Affleck. And it says Ben Affleck, Surviving Christmas. And then it's like James Gandolf. Like, that's how big Ben Affleck was back then, that he could have his name only before the titles of a shitty aughts Christmas movie. And, so everything about this felt wrong right off the bat. There's a commercial playing that shows a grandmother at the end of it who's like, well, it's not even a commercial. I think it's him just kind of giving an idea in his head. And you see a grandmother stick her head into an oven to commit suicide. In the beginning of your holiday movie, you are showing that. Like, they're going that cynical that quickly, but not in like this, like how sometimes we see this kind of stuff and it's funny. We take a laugh and we go, that's not really how it is. Wah, wah. We can throw a parody of like somebody pretending to like go like this and go, and everybody thinks it's hilarious. But like when you set the tone for this like Christmas movie, and you start with a grandma sticking her head in an oven, that's a really, really bad sign. And then we're introduced to one of Ben Affleck's most unlikable characters I've seen in a long time. And he was in a slew of bad movies. It's like, let's not forget that. Okay. We can have the Ben Affleck Renaissance right now if you want, except for that drunk guy playing basketball coach movie, which, but he went, he was making movies that weren't that great around this time. He was getting a lot of roles, not turning anything down. Hey man, Jersey boy, get some cheddar. or is he a Bostonian actually? Yeah. So this is in that time period where I feel like Ben was at the peak of his post Oscars stardom, and things started, the cracks in the talent started to show in the great old Ben Affleck. This was post Jiggly. Yeah, Geely. Sorry, Geely. But he's unlikable in this movie. He's not funny in this movie. He does a lot of phone acting in this movie, and he's not good at any of it. He is. You can totally see everybody else is playing a character. He's acting, like literally looking like he's acting like he wants to be in one of those movies that like Will Ferrell and the rest of the SNL cast always do, where everybody's just riffing. Affleck is sitting there trying to act like he's the greatest improver in the improver. Is that the right word? Improvisationalist in the world here. He also doesn't look like he's trying that hard. Everybody else, I mean, Gandolfini, I can't tell if he's bored or if that's just the way the character's written to just be this kind of character. But again, if it's just the character, he's got nothing to do here but be the gruff character. Catherine O'Hara, she looks like she's having fun, but her character again is just, I'm a housewife who's been married for a long time, and both of us kind of want to get out of our marriage while this crazy guy wants to pay us 250 grand to stay with us for Christmas because he doesn't have a family. He's this weird millionaire and wants to feel that connection, that holiday connection, and he's willing to pay these people for that privilege. And none of it's funny. None of it's played off funny. It's one of those movies where if your characters make this kind of deal, they should either be in it or have said no. It's that, oh, he's asking us to do this. Is this worth the money? Every scene is that scene where somebody has to grit their teeth and go, oh, okay. Even if it's something stupid, like the guy who's like, here, put on the Santa hat. And he's like, I don't want to wear the Santa. Like, just wear the fucking Santa hat. Who gives a shit? But we have to have these characters just fight the whole way because that's what's funny. When that's not funny, can you imagine it? What I was thinking is that this is a terrible comedy, but if they could have made it into a thriller, I think that would have been great. You know, like forget staying at like their house though, have them come to his house. Be like, I know you've got this big family, you always have carry pictures of your family on you, you know, like why don't you all come over and I'll pay you guys $250,000 to come over and pretend to be my family for the week. And then he traps them in there, and actually it gets all creepy and crap, and they can't leave. Like part of the stipulation is you can't leave during this time, yada, yada, yada. If you leave, you forfeit the money. And it just starts getting creepier and more obsessed where you start thinking maybe this guy wants to do more than just have us over for Christmas. Because there's parts of this that just are really, really creepy. This whole thing is really, really creepy. I mean, like I was trying to say, and I don't think I explained it well in text, but I was saying, you know, if somebody were to like kind of just walk in on some of these scenes, you'd think that this guy was holding them hostage. Not, or somebody were to walk in the room while you're watching this movie and go, why is Ben Affleck holding that family hostage? But on the other side of it, you have the family who agrees to take the money, like that, 250 grand. Boom, that's Gandolfini's price. And then throughout the whole thing, we just get that tug of war of, hey, you signed the deal. That's right, I signed the deal. Mixed in with this movie where they're having a marriage breakdown. You know, like irony and all that. And then they force the romance angle. They force the romance between Christina Applegate, almost said Aguilera, between her and Affleck. They have no chemistry. He's not a likable character. She does not like him, and she's right not to like him. And yet they still somehow try to jam, not even somehow, they jam this relationship, this budding relationship down our throats while he's behind the scenes still going out with Jennifer Morrison from House. This is like right at the time of the first season of House. He's buying her Cartier jewelry and also like, trying to get with Christina Applegate, who's playing his sister. So they got those scenes in there that don't fit. You got this like older Melissa or Jennifer Morrison's Missy's dad in this. There's a conversation about how he's okay with brothers and sisters kissing each other. It's just, there's so much messed up stuff that's done to I think to be edgy, but it's just, it all falls flat and feels gross. And again, Affleck's acting, man. Affleck's acting in this just was awful. I did like seeing 2004 internet porn. I thought that was pretty funny, the way the computer looks and all that. Like, this is just dumb things. Like, Christina Applegate comes home, finds out that this guy's in the house. She says, there's a crazy man in the house. Okay, I'm going to go take a bath. Let me know if anything goes wrong. So you're worried about a crazy man being in the house, and the first thing you decide to do is take a bath. A very personal thing when you're an actual fearing for your life. Yeah, this would have been better as a straight up thriller. This is a cynical film. That photo shoot. There's a scene where Ben Affleck pays for Catherine O'Hara to go get her like a photo shoot. And I believe this is Udo Kier from a lot of Uwe Boll movies who is here. And this started out as what could have been a fun scene, turns into this just nightmare-fueled Catherine O'Hara in a bunch of really weird outfits. It just feels really creepy. Gets even creepier when we find out that she took some nudes that end up on her son's computer screen, even though I don't know how. He was on a porn website, and that guy, I guess, must have sold the pictures to a porn site immediately after she took the pictures so that they could show up on the computer. What else? What else? Yeah, speaking of more of the porn stuff, the fake grandfather, and the teenage boy sitting there watching hot Asian porn. Like, who's that? Like that. Yeah, this is another movie that has massive overreactions to things. Everything is this huge overreaction. But the worst part of it all is I was watching this and I just saw James Gandolfini, and I was like, man, I really miss James Gandolfini. 2006 Sopranos were over, and then he's been gone for what? He's got to have been gone for at least 5 or 6 years now, right? Just, man, that guy was just getting started. And yeah, it has this unearned ending too, where everybody just kind of decides to stay together, and he somehow still manages to get Christina Applegate at the end. He gives her this sob story. This movie is filled with somebody has this really weird personal story that they've never told anyone ever in their lives, like 3 different times. And like I said, there's zero chemistry. This movie would have been a lot better if it was a straight up thriller rather than what this was. Because, I mean, he is begging for basically Christina Applegate back. Like, come on, let's do this still. Even though he literally just was giving a huge expensive Cartier bracelet to another woman like 20 minutes before this. But yet somehow everything is resolved, and the last shot is just Affleck and Applegate on one side of a table, and Catherine O'Hara and Gandolfini in a diner just laughing behind the counter in a restaurant. Like, oh, they're all friends now, and they're all going to get together, and it's all ha, 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 when the whole time nobody had chemistry, not even to be friends. This was just an embarrassing. And so, like, Santa Jaws has an excuse for being bad because they don't have the same kind of things that a movie like this gets. It doesn't have the budget. It doesn't get Nobody wants to make Santa Jaws, but I would rather see a better version of Santa Jaws than this ever again. Because everybody in this movie deserves better. Even Ben Affleck, it was probably just, who knows? Like, wasn't this around the time that the old glug glug, when that started happening for him? So I don't know. Maybe he just still felt like he couldn't say no to a paycheck. And then he goes and plays that movie Paycheck with John Woo, which was really funny and on the nose. But that's it, man. I have nothing else to say about this because Surviving Christmas and Santa Jaws, while both of them were bad, Surviving Christmas was worse. Santa Shark broke me while I was watching it. This just makes me go, this is like, look at this. This is what we were putting out at the theater before movies died. This is the quality that we get every Christmas. So even when I imagine somebody thought that this cynical movie was going to be a good idea, but it's awful. And so anyway, that's it for this. I want to thank everybody who watches this later. We're going to be doing all these live. So the next one we're doing is, like I said, on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to be watching Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, and then we're doing it review live later. So that's probably going to be around 9:30-ish. Hopefully, I don't know how long Saving Christmas is. But then also on Friday, we are doing the Muppet Christmas Carol at 7 o'clock. Those are the viewing parties. The reviews will be on YouTube live immediately after they air. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, if you're not a subscriber, consider becoming a subscriber. Get ready for more of these. I want to thank Bill, Raina, and Devra for being in the chat. As always, yep, that Raina hitting it. Daredevil, Geely, Paycheck, all filmed same year. Yep. So we'll be back with more Christmas, holiday, whatever you want to call them, movie reviews, and South Park, little mini South Park look backs as well for each episode. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.